There was a moment, and you never knew about it, when even the angels stopped what they were doing to watch a single person. And that person is you. I saw the entire heavens go quiet in the face of your faith, not because of its size, because of its stubbornness, because you kept believing in the dark, without applause, without an answer, without any proof that any of it mattered. The beings who live in my presence didn't understand how you could still believe, and that very thing proved in heaven who you've always been. Today, out of 8 billion people, you are one of the very few who are going to hear this. That wasn't random. I set this message aside for you, even before you opened your eyes this morning. Stay till the end, because before this message is over, you're going to discover the name heaven gave to the faith you thought no one had ever seen. A name you've never heard about yourself. A name that changes how you wake up tomorrow. Now let me tell you where I found you. I found you in the dark of your bedroom, at that hour when the house is already asleep, kneeling on the cold floor or just lying there with your eyes open staring at the ceiling, praying without feeling anything come back. The words came out softly from your mouth so you wouldn't wake anyone, and the silence answered. You waited for a shiver, a sign, a feeling, anything that would tell you someone on the other end was listening. And nothing came, and you kept going anyway. You closed your eyes and tried again the next night. And the next, no response at all. I saw you smiling in public with a smile that cost you dearly. You shook hands, said you were fine, laughed at the right moment in the joke, commented on the right topic. Nobody there suspected a thing, and that was exactly the problem. Nobody suspected, because you got too good at looking whole, and then you'd come home, take off your shoes, close the door, and collapse on the bed with your chest tight, with no one to see. The mask only came off when the house was empty. I saw the message you typed saying, "I'm fine." I saw the hand that was shaking while you hit send. 2 small words covering something huge that you couldn't explain to anyone. You seek. You dedicate yourself. You do everything right, and yet abundance never comes. And the worst part, you start wondering if you're doing something wrong, if you're being heard up above, if it's meant for you at all. It's not a lack of faith or worthiness. It's a spiritual blockage that ordinary prayer alone cannot break. The Miracle Journal unblocks this in 21 days with a spiritual protocol that works exactly where your prayer doesn't reach. Along with the journal, you'll also receive as a gift the prayer guide and the Psalms manual with the most powerful sacred practices and texts to deepen your transformation. To claim your version of the journal, tap the link in the comments right below this video. You couldn't explain to anyone, because if you tried to really explain, it would sound like you were exaggerating. It would sound like drama. So you summed up everything that was happening inside you into "I'm fine," hit send, and dropped the phone on your chest. And you stared at the ceiling again. And I saw you in the middle of the night, wide awake, taking that silent inventory of everything that still hasn't arrived. What you asked for and never came. What they promised and didn't deliver. The door you knocked on and nobody opened. The prayer you said years ago that's still hanging in the air without an answer. You counted them, one by one, everything that's still missing. And sleep ran away, because it's hard to sleep on top of a list like that. You waited so long that you're tired of waiting, but even tired, you couldn't let go. This isn't weakness. It isn't lack of faith. It's the opposite. It's the silent exhaustion of someone who kept believing without any proof that it was worth it. Only someone who truly believes gets to this level of tired. The unbeliever gives up before that. You didn't give up, and that's why you're still standing. Honor that in yourself. You carried in the dark what most people would have dropped in the first week of silence. Before I continue, do something with me. Drop a like on this video. The like is your public amen. Heaven records what you confess openly, and this simple gesture is you saying, without needing to speak, that you still believe. It's not for me. It's for you. It's your faith coming out of the dark into the light. Because I brought you here with 3 promises, and I don't break what I promise. The first one. Your silence was not ignored. I know you thought no one noticed the quiet nights, but your silence was exactly the evidence heaven used to confirm who you are. What seemed like a lack of response was the evidence being gathered. The second one. Before this message ends, you're going to receive a protocol, something simple that you can do today to acknowledge and seal the identity that your faith has already proven. Not to earn it, to acknowledge what's already yours. The third one. In the end, you'll be able to declare out loud with your own voice that you are chosen and not forgotten. Not as a wish, as a fact. I recognize every night you prayed and heard nothing back. Every single one of them I saw. None of them were lost. What seemed like it was thrown into the void was being kept by me, carefully, waiting for this hour. Now I need your full attention. If you can, look away from the screen for a moment. Stare at a fixed point, because I'm going to show you 4 signs, and these signs were already in your life. You just didn't know how to read them. The first sign is waking up in the middle of the night for no reason at all. Your eyes pop open at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and there's no noise, no bad dream, nothing to explain it. You lie there, in the dark, waiting for sleep to come back, and it doesn't come. You called it insomnia, stress, a restless mind, too much coffee too late. But listen to what it really is. It's your spirit being awakened to receive something that your mind, awake and busy all day, refuses to receive. Heaven works best when the noise of the day goes quiet, when the phone stops ringing, when the house falls silent. That strange hour isn't punishment. It's a scheduled meeting. You don't have insomnia. You're being woken up on purpose. The second sign is a strange tiredness from asking. You always prayed asking, begging, insisting, repeating the same request with different words to see if this time it would work. And suddenly came a tiredness from begging, and along with it, a weird impulse to just trust, to stop pleading and simply rest. You thought you were losing your faith, that you were going lukewarm, cold, distant, that you had given up inside. You hadn't. Your faith was maturing. It was moving from begging into certainty. A child screams for what it wants. A son who trusts his father doesn't need to scream anymore because he knows he'll be taken care of. You didn't go cold. You grew up. What you felt as a loss of fervor was your faith turning into trust. The third sign is tears that come without sadness. In the middle of some ordinary task, washing dishes, driving in traffic, walking down the street, listening to some random song, suddenly your eyes fill up and you don't know why. There's no pain there, no bad memory, no reason you can point to. You covered it up, wiped your face fast, looked around to see if anyone noticed. You thought you were just being too sensitive, that it was built-up exhaustion, that it was hormones, that it was anything. But what's happening is heaven touching something in you that's been sealed up too long. That tear is a door opening in a wall that's been sealed for years. It's something locked inside there, finally breathing. It's not weakness. It's healing starting to leak through a crack. And now, the last sign. This next one is the hardest to hear. This is the one the enemy spent the most time trying to get you to ignore. Because if you believe this one, all the others get confirmed at once. The fourth sign is feeling for an instant, even if it's quick, that someone invisible is watching you. And not with judgment, not with demands, with pride. A presence that pauses for a second in the middle of your ordinary day and looks at you the way you look at something precious, rare, valuable. You felt this. At some point you felt it, and right away you dismissed it. You told yourself it was your imagination, that your head was making up comfort, that you were lonely and inventing company. The enemy worked for years to get you to call it imagination, Because as long as it's imagination, it doesn't change anything in you. But listen, it was real. It was heaven looking at you. It was the confirmation, delivered in silence, that you are never alone in the dark. Not for a single minute. Not on the worst of nights. The presence you dismissed was the only thing in that moment that was telling the truth. If any of these signs hit you just now, write the word free in the comments. Not as a formality, as a confession. Write free to register that this word found you. Now close your eyes for a second. Take a deep breath. What I'm about to tell you doesn't work if your attention is divided. So breathe, let the air out slowly, and come with me. I want to tell you about a man named Job. He had everything and lost it all in a single day. The property, the livestock, the house, the kids, all of them, at once. Then his health, and finally the respect of everyone around him. And heaven, from his point of view, went silent. Complete silence. He prayed and no answer came. He cried out and the ceiling seemed like iron. He asked why over and over, and the only thing he got back was the echo of his own question. His friends, who came supposedly to comfort him, ended up saying he must have sinned, that all of it was deserved punishment. His own wife, exhausted, told him to curse God and just die already. No one on earth recognized what was really happening. To every human eye, Job was a cursed man, forgotten, abandoned, the example of what nobody wants to be. But there's a scene that no one on earth saw. Before all of that collapsed up in heaven, I myself pointed to Job in front of all the gathered heavenly beings. I showed him off. I said, "Look at this man. See how he serves me." Job was my point of pride in front of the entire invisible court. And when everything fell apart and he, even destroyed, even without understanding, even sitting in the ashes, stayed faithful and didn't curse me, it was in front of that same invisible audience that his faithfulness became living proof. Every day he held on. All of heaven watched. Job was being applauded standing up in the exact place where he felt most forgotten and most alone. Earth looked and saw abandonment. Heaven looked and saw a trophy being forged. And what he lost in the end, I gave back multiplied, because faith proven in the dark never goes without reward. But the reward came later. The honor that was already happening during the silence, he just couldn't see it. Now let me give you a picture. There are stars in the sky that have already exploded. They don't exist anymore, but their light is still traveling through space, years and years of distance on its way to reach our eyes. When you look at the night sky, you see the glow of things that happened a long time ago. The light left. It just hasn't arrived yet. Your faith is like that. The glow of what you did in the dark has already left. It's already traveling. It just hasn't reached the eyes of earth yet. The people around you still don't see it. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It means the light is on its way. And just like Job was watched by heaven at the height of being forgotten, the light you emitted in silence is already crossing the distance to be seen. If you relate to this, write in the comments. Write Job if you felt like you've been in this place of faithfulness without a witness. Or write still standing if that's how you recognize yourself today. Still standing despite everything. Now let me pause for a full minute. I want you to stop with me. No rush. Look back at the path that brought you here and notice 4 things that are facts. They're not opinions. They're what happened. You prayed when there was no answer. You stayed standing when giving up was easier and more logical. You felt signs and almost threw them away, calling them coincidence. And you made it here, to this exact moment, without any guarantee, without proof, without any certainty at all. And still, you made it. Most people need a reason to keep going. They need to see a result, a sign, a fulfilled promise to take the next step. You kept going without a visible reason. You took the next step in the dark, without seeing the ground, trusting it would be there. This is no small thing. This is rare. This is exactly what separates someone who's just called from someone who is chosen. Many are called, and almost all of them stop when the reward takes too long. You didn't stop, and it was your refusal to stop that wrote your name in a place earth can't reach. I recognize your persistence without an audience. I saw you believe on an empty stage, with no one in the stands, with no one to applaud you or blame you. And that's exactly why I'm going to tell you the names this persistence has earned. Because what you're about to hear is no human title. It's no compliment. It's what I call you when I speak of you in heaven. The first identity. You are the faithful in the dark. I saw you worship without any sign. In that place where no one was clapping, where there was no return, where faith gave you nothing back in the short term, you kept going. You lit a candle in a room no one was going to enter. You quietly sang a hymn on a night when you had no visible reason to sing. You gave thanks for things you hadn't even received yet. That thing you did in secret, with no one to validate it, is the highest form of faith there is. Anyone believes when the miracle is in their hand. Believing empty-handed, in the dark, without proof, that's what almost no one does. And what this authorizes you to do is simple. Stop measuring your faith by the response it pulls out of heaven. Your faith was never about what it could bring back to you. It was already complete in the dark. It already had full value right there. Even without return, the faithful in the dark doesn't need a light turned on to keep believing. He carries his own light inside. The second identity. You are heaven's testimony. Your endurance became proof in front of beings who didn't understand how you could still believe. I already told you this, and I'm telling you again because it's central. The angels didn't believe the faith you held on to. They looked at a person with no answer, no miracle in sight, no apparent reason, and they saw faith. And they didn't get it. And that lack of understanding on their part was the greatest honor your faith ever received. Think about what that means. Your faith, the one you thought was too small, too simple, without shine. That stubborn faith of someone who just kept insisting it made eternal beings stop and stare. They who see glory up close every single day didn't understand how a human being in the dark, seeing nothing, still trusted. You were a mystery to the angels. You were the question they couldn't answer. And there is no greater honor for a faith than to be incomprehensible because of its size. What this authorizes you to do is change your position. Start seeing yourself as an example, not a forgotten exception. Stop seeing yourself as the one left behind, the one not chosen, the one left over in line. You are not what's left over. You are what is shown. You are the proof I use. You are the living evidence that it's possible to believe in the dark and not fall. There are people who will be saved just from seeing you standing. The third identity. You are the chosen sealed one. The faith you held on to was not tested to break you. Listen to this very carefully, because the enemy flipped this truth in your head and made you believe it for years. He made you think the suffering was a sign of rejection. That if I loved you, I wouldn't have let it hurt so much. Lie. It wasn't tested to break you. It was confirmed to mark you. The test wasn't a trap to see if you would fall. It was a seal being pressed into hot metal, and hot metal hurts. But what comes out the other side is a mark that no one can ever erase. It was to confirm what was already yours in front of eternal witnesses in a way that could never be disputed. Gold doesn't go through fire because gold is hated. It goes through fire because it is gold, and the fire only proves what it already is. And what this authorizes you to do is the most important thing in this entire message. Start living as someone who has already been chosen, and not as someone still waiting to be chosen. The waiting is over. The seal has already been placed. What seemed like abandonment was selection. Your quiet endurance proved in heaven an identity that earth never learned to see. Stop breathing like someone waiting for a verdict. The verdict is already out, and it was in your favor. Now write in the comments the name of the identity you just received. The faithful in the dark, heaven's testimony, the chosen sealed one. Write the one that hit you the hardest, the one that made something tighten up inside you. And if this message is reaching you, subscribe to the channel, because what is being sealed here needs to keep reaching you. Heaven didn't bring you this far to drop you now. I know you heard all of this, and a part of you wants to keep it, to take it home. That's why I'm going to give you something concrete now. Not a theory, a protocol, a gesture. It's called the Seal of Witnessed Faith. And it's 3 steps, simple ones, that you can do right now or tonight in the same dark where it all began. The first step. In silence, alone, name out loud the hardest night when you still chose to believe. That specific night. You know exactly which one it is. It's not some generic night. It's that one. The worst one. The one where everything inside you said stop. Let go. Accept that it wasn't going to change. And still, you prayed. Say its name. Describe to yourself quietly what that night was. Where you were. What was happening. What you felt. Not to relive the pain. To pull it out of oblivion and put it in the light, where it turns into testimony instead of a wound. That night wasn't your defeat. It was your highest moment. You just didn't know it. The second step, put your hand on your chest, over your heart, and give back to heaven the right to prove that faith was worth it. You carried that weight alone for too long, trying to prove to yourself that it wasn't in vain. Let that go. Give it back to me. I will prove it. It's no longer your job to carry the proof. The third step. Take a deep breath, slowly, and receive the name of chosen without asking for any proof in return. Just receive it. No conditions. No, show me first. Receive it like someone accepting a gift that was already theirs. And the sign that it worked isn't euphoria. There won't be a wave of explosive emotion. The sign is a deep stillness, a strange peace, quieter than you expected. If stillness comes, the seal stuck. If you are receiving this protocol now, write the word received in the comments. Write it to confirm, to anchor it. Received. Now I need to warn you about something, because I don't hand you a seal and send you off unprotected. In the next 72 hours, 3 things are going to be thrown at you. Not as a possibility, as a certainty. I'm telling you beforehand so that when they come, you recognize them and don't fall. The first one is called coincidence. It's going to come with a reasonable voice, almost intelligent, saying that all those signs were just chance, that waking up in the middle of the night is just insomnia, that the tear was just exhaustion, that the presence was just imagination. It's going to try to dismantle everything you received today, piece by piece, calling it coincidence. Its weapon is doubt disguised as common sense. The second one is called delay. It's going to whisper that if all of this were true, it would have already happened, that it's been too long, that a real chosen one would have seen results already. It uses the clock against you, but the time of the seal is not Earth's time. The light from the star takes a while to arrive, and that doesn't make the star any less real. The third one is called comparison. It's going to show you other people's faith, faith that seems bigger, more beautiful, more rewarded, to make yours seem too small to have been noticed. It's going to put you side by side with people who seem more blessed and ask who you are to have been chosen. Its weapon is making you forget that your faith in the dark was exactly what heaven honored the most. And there is a fourth enemy, the most dangerous one, because it uses your own voice. It's going to say, in a tone of humility, it's pride for me to want to believe I was chosen. It's going to disguise disbelief as spiritual maturity. It's going to make you refuse your identity, thinking you're being humble. But refusing what I call you is not humility. It's the last wall the enemy builds. Accepting who you are, that is obedience. If you decide today not to fall for any of these, write the word protected in the comments. The decree has been sealed. Protected. Now let's close this out. I want you to do this with me. Physically, wherever you are, put your hand on your chest. Feel your own heart beating under your palm. Plant your feet on the floor. Close your eyes and take one deep breath. Now, with your hand on your chest, I want you to hand over 3 things. Don't hold on to them anymore. Hand over the weight of thinking your faith went unnoticed. Let that go now. It didn't. I saw every drop of it. Hand over the doubt that you were forgotten. Let it go. You never were. The forgetting was the lie, not the truth. And hand over the need for external proof for you to believe in your own worth. Let go of the demand that someone on the outside confirm what heaven already confirmed. You don't need that anymore. Now listen to my voice, because it's me speaking to you, not the narrator. Me. I saw you in the dark room, praying without hearing anything back. I was there. I was sitting right next to you, close enough to touch, on every single one of those nights. The silence you felt wasn't my absence. It was my presence in a way you hadn't learned to recognize yet. Some love speaks, and some love just stays close, quiet, without needing to say anything. I stayed. I heard every word that seemed to fall into the void, and I tell you now, with all the authority of heaven, not one of them fell. Not one. Every prayer of yours was collected, kept, and is answered in a time you will still come to understand. I saw you type, "I'm fine," with a shaking hand. I saw the whole truth those 2 words were hiding. I know what you wanted to write and didn't write. And I didn't judge you for hiding. I didn't think you were weak. I stayed with you in exactly what you couldn't say to anyone in the world. The hand that was shaking, that hand, I held it, even though you didn't feel it in that moment. You never sent that message alone. I was there, on the inside of your silence. I saw you wake up at 3 in the morning and think you were just losing sleep. I was the one who woke you up. I saw the tear that fell in the middle of an ordinary task, and I was the one who touched that thing in you. The presence you felt and dismissed as imagination. It was me, stopping time for a second to look at you with pride. You worshipped without a sign. You believed without proof. You kept going without applause. You stood up when no one was holding you up. And that's why I call you now, in front of all of heaven gathered, chosen, from acceptance to belonging, from invisible to witnessed, from forgotten to sealed, from waiting to destiny. I cover your mind so that coincidence doesn't steal what you received today. May every thought that tries to dismantle this find a wall. I cover your relationships so that comparison doesn't poison you, so that you never again measure your worth by someone else's apparent faith. I cover your time, all of it, so that delay doesn't convince you of a lie just because the clock is slow. What's on its way doesn't cancel because of a delay. I cover your sleep, your early morning hours, your tears without reason, and I transform each one of them from a symptom of weakness into a sign of calling. And I cover the faith you held onto. That same faith the angels didn't understand, and I seat it in front of all of them in the place of honor it earned with blood, sweat, and silence. No one is taking that seat from you. It is finished. You have been sent back into your life with a new name that no one can take away. Now, before anything else, say it out loud with your own voice wherever you are. Say this: I was seen. I was chosen. Say it again, firmer. I was seen. I was chosen. Feel the weight of those words leaving you. And now, write the word done in the comments. Not out of habit, as a signature of what just happened in you. Think of one person, just one, Someone you know has also prayed in the dark without an answer. Someone who also smiles in public and suffers at home. Send this message to that person. Not to a group, to them with name and face. Because they too are waiting to hear that they were seen, and heaven may be using you to deliver that. When you want to go deeper into this, the next step is waiting for you, in the same calm way it has waited for you up until now. It is done. You are not the same person you were when this message began. The angels didn't believe the faith you held on to, but I believed it from the first day. And now, you know it too. You seek. You dedicate yourself. You do everything right, and yet abundance never comes. And the worst part, you start wondering if you're doing something wrong, if you're being heard up above, if it's meant for you at all. It's not a lack of faith or worthiness. It's a spiritual blockage that ordinary prayer alone cannot break. The Miracle Journal unblocks this in 21 days with a spiritual protocol that works exactly where your prayer doesn't reach. Along with the journal, you'll also receive as a gift the prayer guide and the Psalms manual with the most powerful sacred practices and texts to deepen your transformation. To claim your version of the journal, tap the link in the comments right below this video.